Now let's learn about a Chinese writer who's been jailed for 10 years over a novel featuring gay sex scenes. This is how the Global Times is reporting it. That's a state-run newspaper in China. It's got a picture of the book. The book's called Occupation. Police became aware of it after it started to gain popularity online. We know the writer is listed as Liu. We know she's prolific. She's written over 10 books in a genre that's known as boys' love. And we know that she was jailed in a court in Anhui province, which, as you can see, is some way south of Beijing. The charge was producing and selling obscene material. Now, it's important to note, pornography is illegal in China, though there's disagreement over whether her work should be considered as such. Well, the length of the sentence is what sparked anger across Chinese social media. This point keeps getting raised. One user on Weibo saying, those found guilty of rape get less than 10 years in jail. This writer gets 10 years. Well, often on stories concerning China, we talked to Kerry Allen from BBC Monitoring.
There are a number of issues here with this book. I mean, it's almost like E.L. James's 50 Shades of Grey. I mean, it started out, being written online and attracting people, but also the steam that it created, literally, this book, that people were asking, they were sending their email address and saying they wanted a copy, that she was producing hard copies and selling it. I mean, China has very, very strict laws on pornographic and violent content. It quite commonly blacklists a lot of material, books, music, etc. So the fact that she was producing this, that was a problem in itself. Yes, then also the fact that it was graphic gay sex, that it was mentioned in the book, that also created another problem. So yes, there were a number of issues with this that the authorities were quite uncomfortable about, and also because of the popularity of this book. This woman had managed to sell 7,000 copies, and she'd managed to make about 150,000 yuan, which is about $21,000 or £10,000. So she'd been, what the government said was she was illegally profiting from this book that hadn't actually been approved by the authorities. So this is why she got such a heavy sentence.
But is the issue fundamentally less about the sexually explicit nature of what she describes and more about the fact she's describing two men being in love?
It's not necessarily the content of the book. It's the fact that people were really getting interested in this. If you type in the name of the book online on China's search engine Baidu, Gongjiang, which means occupation, like almost like a military coup to take someone or something by force. There were loads of forums that people don't normally use. So these kind of like old school online forums that people are using to discuss this, and it's, I mean, the government really kind of wants people to be in line with good values, and something like this that was quite scandalous, that really alarmed the government, and that is almost why. I mean, the fact that thousands of people were trying to read this book, and even now people are still talking about it. They're sending their email addresses and saying they want a copy if people have soft copies. That's what's got the government nervous. So they're trying to actually stop this now and set an example.
No, I don't remember.